All right, so y'all already know how we do it over here. I got articles, sources, stats. Like I'm ready to break all this stuff down. Let's start with this. People magazine said the wife of Brian Thompson said her husband had been receiving threats prior to the attack. Thompson's wife, Paulette, told NBC News that she was informed by the NYPD that the attack on her husband was planned. And she said, yes, there had been some threats, basically. I don't know, a lack of coverage? I don't know the details. I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him. And I'm just like, girl, what do you mean? Like, oh, I don't know, like lack of coverage? Like they were dying? Are they like they were sick? They were upset and sick and dying? I don't know. They were lack of coverage? I don't know. But there were some people who had been threatening him. Despite the threats, Paulette said her husband did not alter his travel plans. So it's just like, girl, let's just break this down. Let's break it down. After making your death drop, headlock, got him in a headlock. Music to my ears, I'm about to make your head rock. All right, so we hopping right into it, y'all. This is coming from USA Today. The CEO of UnitedHealthcare, of course, was shot this morning outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan in what police said was a brazen targeted attack. Brian Thompson was shot by a masked gunman around 6:45 a.m. near Hilton in Midtown. He was actually going to speak at an investment conference. He was going to meet some investors. All right. And that's according to the police commissioner up there, Jessica Tisch. Tisch said it appears the gunman was lying in wait for several minutes before he stepped behind Thompson and opened fire. The video is crazy. So of course he was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police were still searching for the shooter who hid in an alleyway before boarding an e-bike. He got on that bike, honey, and said, "I'm out of here." Oh my gosh. Riding into Central Park where he was last seen on a bike, a getaway bike, honey. Wow, like we at recess or something. At the scene, investigators found 3 shell casings in addition to a cell phone. They're going to analyze the cell phone, while officials said the motive for the shooting was unclear. The commissioner said every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, and targeted attack. United Health Group was hosting its annual conference for analysts and investors at the hotel Wednesday. The company ended the event early as news of the shooting broke. It's just like so interesting that of all things, this guy was going to like an investor like meeting, right? A meeting for investors. So of course I'm not gonna show the video, but like he really just walked behind this guy and did what he had to do. Now immediately people reacted like you would expect them to, especially since a lot of people think that this gunman or whatever could be someone who was frustrated with the insurance company. Obviously, if Brian Thompson's wife is over here talking to People magazine or talking whatever, saying that people were mad over a lack of coverage or something, that he was getting threats. Obviously, it's not really a far-fetched thing to imagine that whoever this shooter is was frustrated with this company in that way, right? So one person on Blue Sky said, all human life is sacred, so it's not proper to laugh when serious harm befalls someone. The moral thing to do is instead charge them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Someone else said, our apologies, but bullet wounds are only covered under our Platinum Plus package. Someone else said this, thank you for choosing UnitedHealthcare for your healthcare needs. After a careful review of the claim submitted for emergency services on December 4th, 2024, we regret to inform you that your request for coverage has been denied. If you would like to appeal the fatal gunshot, please call with this case number to initiate a peer-to-peer within 48 hours of the fatal gunshot. This one here, where she says, kill one person and you're a murderer, but kill 100,000. And you're increasing shareholder value. This one also, I'm sorry, prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. Other one, sending prior authorization denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. And by the way, this thing about prior authorization, according to a survey done by the American Medical Association in 2023, the link to an article describing it, of course, is going to be in my description. But like the rest of these articles, all of that is in my description as usual. But according to the American Medical Association, 94% of physicians reported that prior authorization leads to delays in necessary patient care. 93% of physicians indicated that prior authorization has a negative impact on patient clinical outcomes. Moving on. Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency, and we were out $3,000. What else? I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for pre-approval of my care, then after their required deductible is probably what they meant to say, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. Hope he's looking up at us. Okay. All right. So now listen to this. Just listen. We're gonna get into Brian Thompson's compensation package. All right. So they were saying that he was making $10.2 million every year. Apparently, he was also exercising $20 million worth of stock options. They're saying that his net worth was $43 million, which included 72,000 units of UnitedHealth Group stock, which is valued at about $42 million. All right, so, you swimming in money, and it's not just him, clearly. It's the entire system, this entire structure in this country, right? And it's not just healthcare. But when we're talking about like vital needs, food, water, stuff like medicine, healthcare in general, like these executives, you swimming in money while people's husbands having heart attacks, and while United is using AI to deny people coverage, mental health coverage. We'll get into that at the end of this video. But, I think as income inequality gets worse and worse and worse and worse as these years go on, right? And as executives and the ruling class extract, they try to squeeze as much money as they can out of a COVID infected, paycheck to paycheck living population. As this goes on, these companies, these $1 million, $1 billion CEOs and politicians, whatever, might find themselves in a very new reality, right? Like, do you think people are going to sit by while y'all profit and they starve? Like, while y'all profit and they have to watch their family members get sick and die? Like, people are crying at funerals and y'all are laughing to the banks. Period. And also, Blue Cross Blue Shield, I see you. They just said they will no longer cover anesthesia for the full length of certain surgeries in certain states, Connecticut, New York, and Missouri. If a surgery goes past a specific duration, then of course more anesthesia it will be added for the additional time. Cost will be added, and so it's just like, wow, it's like you playing a video game. At some point, are they gonna just wake you up, and tell you, if you can't swipe your card, we just gonna leave your leg how it is, we gonna leave your heart how it is? They're gonna wake you up at that point. So it's just like, y'all have some nerve. We're gonna get into this article from ProPublica entitled "How UnitedHealth's Playbook for Limiting Mental Health Coverage Puts Countless Americans' Treatment at Risk." I think this is just a small window into the type of heinous practices going on in these insurance companies, and y'all gonna act gagged when people have a response to it, right? So the nation's largest health insurance conglomerate, United, had been using algorithms to identify providers it determined were giving too much therapy and patients it believed were receiving too much. Then the company scrutinized their cases and cut off reimbursements. By the end of 2021, United's algorithm program had been deemed illegal in 3 states, but that has not stopped the company from continuing to police mental health care with arbitrary thresholds and cost-driven targets. And this publication found that after reviewing what is effectively the company's internal playbook for limiting and cutting therapy expenses. And I'm gonna get into some specifics here as we wrap the video up. The insurer's strategies are still very much alive, putting countless patients at risk of losing mental health. So they say here that United is taking aim at people who give or get unwarranted treatment. And listen to this. They're flagging patients who receive more than 30 sessions in 8 months. 30 sessions in 8 months. If you get more than that, they try and cut you off. And we talk about mental health therapy, all types of, like, what are you, 30 set? If you go to a therapist regularly, you passing that threshold within 2 months. What are you talking about? The insurer estimates its outlier management strategy will contribute to savings of up to $52 million, according to company documents. And so guess what? After they done cut off people mental health resources and all type of resources that they need, they're gonna take that $52 million that they done saved and deposit it directly into their accounts. Get out my face. The company's ability to continue deploying its playbook lays bare a glaring flaw in the way American health insurance companies are overseen. Listen to this. While United, one of the 10 most profitable companies in the world, offers plans to people in every state, it answers to no single regulator. States are responsible for plans that residents buy on the marketplace. They also regulate those funded by the government through Medicaid, but run through private insurers. So what they're saying here is that more than 50 different state and federal regulatory entities each oversee a slice of United's vast network. And so it's not just one body regulating United, it's 50 different organizations. And so United uses that to their advantage. And what I mean by that is when a California regulator cited United for its algorithm-driven practice in 2018, its corrective plan applied only to market plans based in California. Same thing for Massachusetts, because a Massachusetts Attorney General forced it to restrict the system in 2020 for one of the largest plans there, but the prosecutor's power ended at the state line. Same thing in New York. Even when the U.S. Department of Labor won a case against a multi-million-dollar victory against United, none of it made an ounce of a difference to the millions whose plan fell outside of their purview, outside of New York. So it didn't matter that they were all scrutinizing the insurer for violating the same federal law, one that forbade companies from putting up barriers to mental health coverage that did not exist for physical health coverage. And this is just talking about mental health coverage. It ain't talking about the horrible practices that insurance companies just take part in all the time, right? So yeah, I just will not be dropping a tear when this person worth $42 million. These companies making billions of dollars, and people are suffering. You know what I mean? People are suffering, and they are just like, if you get more than 30 mental health sessions in 8 months, we're gonna chop it. We're gonna chop it, like, and then we're gonna put that money in our account. Like, it's to save money. Girl, get out of my face. And so, like I said, I think, without getting too crazy on YouTube, but I think that as income inequality gets worse and worse, as material situations get worse and worse, and people get more desperate, and we see all these millionaires and billionaires on top of industries while people are suffering underneath, I just think that reality is going to start to look very different for some of these CEOs and politicians. Like, that's just it, y'all. Like, that's just it. So tell me what y'all think about the situation. Like, I was gagging because, I mean, this guy did that at 6 a.m. He woke up with hate in his heart. Do you hear me? Early in the morning. Knew where this man was going, his meetings, his investor meetings. He woke up, he stretched up. At 5 a.m., he woke up, he said, he got out of bed, he stretched. He got out of bed, he stretched. He said, I can't wait to get this man today. Y'all, just tell me just act up in the comments. Love y'all so much. And make sure you have a good evening.